Hey y'all, how y'all doing? Happy birthday to you. Y'all, this podcast today is for educating y'all, teaching y'all, criticism, and community purposes. Okay? I want to get a shout out to all my TikTokers, to all my subscribers. Y'all, we're going to get into two escapees that is still out there. They can run, they can keep running, but they can't hide forever. And those two escapees is Derrick Groves. And you see, I got a picture of him right here. And we got Antoine Massey. And this is Antoine. Now, before I get into these guys, I want to talk about the decisions that they make can affect their own health and their family health. Okay? Now, the educating part to this podcast today is you got two dangerous manhunt escapees on the run. Okay? Now, which that they are not understanding that being responsible for their behavior is a good decision making, okay? Now, what I mean by that is the choice that these two individuals has made, they can solve their own problem. Okay? Now, the choices that Antoine, Massey, and Derrick Grove and the decision they made can and will affect some part of their health. Okay? And that was concerning me right now, their health. Okay? And the health of others. Are they getting enough sleep? Are they sleep? Do they have enough energy to stay awake? Right now, y'all, that's something that y'all don't know. And I'm just trying to educate y'all on this situation right here. Those young men mental health is affected about the choices that they are making right now. Okay? Their mental health right now is affecting the choices and the decisions that they need to make. I know y'all don't want to hear this, right? But this is just somebody who cares about people. Okay? Now, hopefully and praying that some decisions that these young men have made help them avoid harmful behaviors. I don't want harmful behaviors to get in effect of what they're doing, and that's what's gonna happen, y'all. That's what's gonna happen. Now, there could be some good decisions behind these young men's health. Okay. See, I know mentally that their health is not in the status that it's supposed to be in because they running. They are hiding. They are running. Okay, that's your mind. Now, good decisions making come from good health decisions. Now, I want to get into the young men. Let me tell you a little bit about them, okay? Let me tell you a little bit about that was told to us. Now, they are the last two escapees that really needs to turn themselves in. Antoine, Massey, and Derrick Grove. Because it get worse. The longer they stay out there, the worse it gets, y'all. Okay? And right now, they are not focusing. They're not focusing on their health right now. Social health. No fun for them at this time. Now, two, they got a $50,000 a piece award for these two escapees. And it's worse because if you're a family member, a loved ones, or someone trying to help these two individual escapees, it can affect your health in your family. Now, they've been gone enough to get tattoo removed out their face, necks. There's a whole lot of tattoos. But the more time they out there, they can change their appearance. They can change their appearance. But it's something about them is going to remain the same. It's their behavior. Okay? Now, let me tell you a little bit about Antoine. Now, not Antoine. Let me get to Derrick. Let me tell you a little bit about Derrick. All I've been hearing, they are good boys. They are good that and that and that. They can be good individuals. They can be respectful. But we got to be honest about this. Now, they're not little boys like they used to be little boys, okay? Derrick Grove was convicted of murder for the shooting death of two people last year, 2024. I don't care what their behavior was when they were going through this and going through that, but there are places where you can get help. So it won't affect your social skill, your physical skills, your mental and emotional skills. Okay? These are grown men. They grown now. They're grown now, family. Now, that's what Derrick is convicted of, okay? Now, let's go to Antoine. Let's go to Antoine. Okay, let's go to Antoine. Antoine was being held on charges of domestic abuse involving strangulation prior to the jail breakout. Okay. They need to be behind bars. They can keep running, but they can't hide forever. They can keep running, but they can't hide forever. Because y'all, these two young men right now is making the wrong choice and the decision that can affect their life and their loved ones. Their decisions that they made in life can affect their way of living. Now, I want to, before I go to anything else, I want them to, I want both the young men to think about the consequences. Think about their consequences. How will the decision affect their health? See, they're at the age now that the decisions that they're making can affect their health. So that's something that I really want to get into today with these two young men. And I hope they listening. I want them to think about their the about their consequences. Okay. How will this decision affect their health? Okay. Not only their family health, but their health. Okay. Also, I want them to think about is that type of behavior might choose harmful or illegal situation. Will that behavior that they have right now, with the thinking about the consequences, is that behavior that they are choosing, is it become harmful and illegal? So I want them to not only think about themselves, I want them to think about themselves and others. Okay. Also, during this time of stress, I also want them to think when they're thinking about their consequences that they can make wiser choices. But they have to understand the consequences of their health related decisions. See, they're not young like they used to be. They in their late 30s and stuff, early 30s. They're not young like they used to be. Now, they're good in everybody. There is good in everybody. So when we make decisions, when we make decisions in life, we have to understand that I want these young men to understand it does affect their health. Okay. And what we want them to do safely is to turn themselves in. Because you're going to get tired of hiding. Okay. Now, like I said earlier in the podcast, that their appearance is going to change because they're out there long enough for their appearance to change. Okay, either they're gonna shave their hair off, get rid of the tattoo, go bald, or go a sew in. Or you can say change your appearance, but it's something about you that you still gonna look the same. Okay, now in making this decision, I want these young men to understand, realize what they are doing. They are to recognize a decision maker. You got to understand. If I break out of jail, I could be the goodest person in the world, but I broke out the jail. So that's my situation. I have become escapee, and I want them to understand they are labeled as escapees, and they got a manhunt, and they are labeled as dangerous. Okay, because that's part of being an inmate. Okay, that's the situation. Now there are some options in what these two escapees are doing. There are options. There are choices that they can proceed with to change what they are doing. Now, they also can weigh the possible outcome. What are the consequences of their options as being a father, nephew, loved one, and escapee? Okay? And I also want them to consider, are there any values there? Being commitments. Commitments. And the next thing I want them to think about, the young men to think about, making that decision and act. Turn yourself in. And if they stubborn like my brother, I can hear my brother say, I ain't going back. But me, I can't say what these young men are saying in their mind. Okay, I need for them to make a decision, the right choice to make that will not affect the health of them and their families. Okay, and lastly, evaluate their decisions. Okay, they need to evaluate their decision. What were actually consequences that they made, the decision that they made. Okay, so my thing with these two young men that I'm thinking about, with the consequences, they don't understand that the consequences that they have chosen will affect the health of others. Not only them, but the health of others. If they do this, if they do that, their health can affect them. Their decisions, I apologize, their decision making can affect the choices that they make in solving this problem as an escapee. Now, will they turn themselves in? Hopefully they will. Hopefully they will. But it has become a pattern for Antoine. Okay? And it seems as if they're stubborn. Okay? Now, does the decision that these two young men, the choices, fit with the family values, fit with any, are there any values there? Now, like I said, y'all, Antoine was being held on charges of domestic abuse involving strangulation. Okay. Prior to the jailbreak. Derrick convicted. Let me just put Derrick face up to it. And Derrick Groves is convicted murder for the shooting death of Jamar Robinson and Byron Jackson of last year. Now, y'all, these are two dangerous individuals. I'm not going to glorify it. I'm not going to make it seem like they are good. Right now, y'all, it's the summertime. Kids are out of school. Somebody know where these young men at. And I hope that they make the right choices and make the right decision in getting to turning their self in. So nobody get hurt. Okay. So I'm gonna show y'all this video and we're gonna go through it because if you helping these two young men out, it's gonna be bad on you. So what we just covered before I show y'all this video is how the decisions and the choices of the decision making that these two young men makes, how it would affect others' health and their health. Okay? They're not in this alone. They are not focusing right, y'all. They're not focusing right. Somebody got to talk to these two young men seriously. Because right now they are in a it's not in a good health situation. Right now, their decision is affecting their health. Okay, they're not good decisions making. Okay, they are not good decisions making because they have not sat down and analyzed their decisions. Okay, now let's check this video out.
New this morning, inmates on the run captured in southeast Texas, two fugitives who city in Huntsville. ABC's Andrew Denberg has the latest search for the two prisoners still on the run.
This month, investigators recaptured more inmates who escaped from this New Orleans detention facility this month, finding two in Texas yesterday and one in Baton Rouge.
It is very possible that as you catch more people that escape, that they may well have information about potentially where the other escapees might be.
8 of the 10 inmates who escaped May 16th are now back in custody. Many have faced murder charges and were labeled high-risk offenders. Authorities say they crawled through a hole behind a toilet, reportedly using electric hair trimmers to cut through the cell wall. At least 9 people have been arrested for allegedly helping them, including a jail maintenance worker accused of shutting off water to the toilet, another inmate accused of providing a blanket to help them climb over razor wire, and family members and friends accused of giving them rides, food, and money. With 2 men still on the run, each previously charged with second-degree murder, law enforcement remains on high alert.
People still need to be cautious because are those two someplace in New Orleans? They might be. I understand that the most recent captures were in Texas. That's several hours away from New Orleans.
Meanwhile, in Arkansas, a former law enforcement officer serving decades behind bars has escaped from a high-security prison. Grant Hardin once served as a police chief in a small town nearby. He admitted in 2016 to killing a town water department employee. DNA later linked Hardin to disguising himself in a law enforcement uniform Sunday, slipping past prison security, pushing a cart.
There's no type of uniform like that. So that's one of the things we're looking into is where exactly did that come from.
Okay, let's go right here. Let's go to the people. These criminals right here. These criminals are criminals that help these young men escape. They help these young men escape. It's nothing good that I can say about this. It's nothing good I can say about this. That they help these people right here. All 9 of them. And you know what? I wouldn't doubt it. It was more than 9 of them. Help these folks. None of these people cared about none of them boys who escaped. None of these faces right here that you see right now cares about none of those escapees. Anybody that helped those escapees hurted those escapees. Now look at them. And they think it's funny. Just because of the decision that these people who helped them made makes me sick. Now, these people, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think it's more than 6, 7, have put the families and plus the escapees in a situation, in a bad decision to where they got to make choices for their families and loved ones to get back. They got to use some kind of strategy to get back in jail. But these folks right here don't care nothing about escapees. They don't care nothing about the harmful, how they could avoid harmful behaviors. These people right here don't care nothing about them escapees. They don't care. You know, go back to looking at all of them. What the purpose of escaping and you're going to get caught? Now, these last 2 boys, I'm going to very, very much pray that they are thinking about the consequences, and that is affecting their health and their family's health, okay? And they can do something, and they're going to need help to avoid harmful behavior. In this situation right here, that's what I'm praying for, a good outcome. I'm praying for a good outcome of these decisions that these young people has made, okay? The choices that they have made, okay? I want them to be turned in without being hurt. 2 is still out there. 2 is still out there. Derrick and Antoine. They're going to change their feature.
Escape May 16th. They're now back in custody. Many have faced murder.
Y'all see, do y'all see what's on the wall? Do y'all see what's on the walls? Do you see the area that they're in and on the walls? You see what they wrote up there? Two E's. LOL. Two E's. LOL. Somebody had to tell them about that area right there, y'all. Them inmates don't know nothing about this area right here. Those inmates don't know nothing about that wall. And look at the gloves. They do not know nothing about this area. They don't know nothing about this hole that they had to crawl through. They crossed through what hole? I don't see no hole they crawled through because I don't see nothing. Oh, that hole up there? I can't even get in there. I can't even get in there. So I might well stay behind. They crawled through that hole, y'all. And they rolled up, somebody rolled up there too easy. Laugh out loud.
Hole behind a toilet, reportedly using a
Hole behind the toilet. Look at that. Look at that. And look, they wrote their name of the when you can. What they say, catch mean when you can. You see that? Y'all see that? They got two E's with an arrow, and then it said catch me when you can. Lord, Lord have mercy, Jesus. I don't sing it all. Catch me if you can. So, well, we do have two out there say catch me if you can. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I wonder which one of them wrote that. Catch me if you can. Y'all ain't that? You had time. Somebody had time enough to write this. They use electric hair trimmers to cut through the cell wall.
hair trimmers to cut through the cell wall. At least 9 people have been arrested for allegedly.
And you should be ashamed of yourself, ain't this man? Y'all don't care nothing about them folks. None of y'all up there. None of y'all care nothing about them young folks none of y'all care nothing about them young folks. None of y'all care nothing about those young people. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Y'all didn't care nothing about them. Y'all were plotting and planning. Y'all were plotting and planning. Y'all would influence them. Man, you are gonna lead too. I turn the water off. And then they had people sitting outside waiting on them. I hope y'all stayed. I hope y'all don't get out of jail for helping them. Y'all didn't even think about our kids in the streets for the summer.
Including a jail maintenance worker accused of shutting off water to the toilet.
Look at this nut bush, y'all. He don't turn out the water, toilets. And I get them boys want to know why that water ain't working over here. My toilet stool not working. Man, what you don't stuck in the water? He don't turn out the water. What in the world? How they escape? The maintenance man, y'all, the maintenance worker, turn the water out. Ain't gonna talk about the sheep though, him to turn out that water. Ain't nobody tell you turn out that water. You turn that water out because you want to turn it off.
Water to the toilet. Another inmate accused of providing a blanket to help them climb over razor wire, and family members and friends accused.
Look at that. Look at that. I guarantee if I seen something like that, my nephew or my son jumping the wall like that, I know don't where that fool ain't doing it.
Giving them rides, food.
Look at that, y'all. They already don't call they rides. Look, for them to have the time and the patience to jump the wall and get away, they not even running fast. So whoever's sitting there, they're not even watching the cameras. They don't gave up. They don't even care. They walked away from the cameras. Those too many men to be escaping. And don't nobody know it. Antoine. I can see Antoine removing those tattoos. I can see Antoine shaving his hair off his head and off around his mouth. But I don't think Antoine is the type that gonna want to live without being groomed. Cause it seems like he's grooming. You know, he like to take care of himself. Antoine, then I don't know about them tattoos on his neck. He probably shave. I don't know about the tattoos on his neck. I don't know. Antoine, I don't know about Antoine. Even if they take, now they say Derrick, I don't know about Derrick, but Antoine, if he take that tattoo out, they still got their appearance. It's something about them. It's no other Antoine Massey, and it's no Derrick Groves. It's nobody else that look like them. Their eyes, their features gonna get them away. Even if he got rid of the tattoos.
Previously charged with second-degree, law enforcement remains on high alert.
People still need to be cautious because are those two someplace in New Orleans? They might be. I understand that most.
What? Hey, don't come to Atlanta. That's all I got to say. This is the wrong place to come because they're gonna catch you. Oh, they was in Texas. Oh Lord have mercy, Jesus.
New Orleans. Meanwhile, in Arkansas, a former law enforcement officer.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy, y'all. That's crazy. Man, they don't got on a helicopter. Let me see what they saying about these children right here. Lord have mercy.
What can disqualify you from getting a life insurance?
Y'all turn these folks in. Don't do them like that, y'all.
Captured in Southeast Texas,
I really exactly.
escaped from a New Orleans. New Orleans parish releasing these photos tonight of Leo Tate and Jermaine Donald. Only two of the original 10 escapees are still at large. Antoine Massey and Derrick Groves. Police are offering a $50,000 reward for each for any information that will lead to their capture.
All right, y'all. Anything else I could say is that I would wish Antoine to turn himself in. Derrick, turn yourself in, man. Turn yourself in. Cause if y'all make a good decision making, it's gonna come from you all learning what you going through right now. Please don't say you ain't coming back. Please don't say that. Make the right decision. If you got any kids, make the right decision that is going to that won't affect your mental health. So you can't have the energy to see your son grow up. If y'all got into your son or daughter, if you got any kids out there, make the right decision, y'all. Because if you don't, the choices that you make can affect your health. I want these young men to make the right choices. Because you can run, but you can't hide for long. You're going to get tired of that. Okay? So, Nothing else I can say. Ain't nothing else I can say about this. There ain't nothing else I can say about this. Y'all got to do better in making the decisions. And it's easy to get in trouble, but it's hell to get out of it. All right, y'all. Y'all have a blessed day. And I hope that these young men make a good choice and a good decision to turn themselves in. This has been your girl, Funny Auntie Grandma Lanita. And I'm out.